everybody has got to learn and love and fall in love with Clive. He was a kind, gentle giant that had an enormous personality, many wishes and gifts for the life, he sought for himself. But he was an absolute fabulous artist. He had an ability to capture all of our treasured memories. So most of Clive's art is it's produced from a memory that he retained from our family life. And, Keen Gardener put us all to shame, taught us everything about gardening, got that from the DNA chain. And, Clive used his heart, Rob, to, be his guide with people. He oozed humanity. He had a desire to care for people. He would make sure he said hello to a stranger passing or yourself in his day contact. He would always say goodbye and he would always wish you well. Just like Clive had been in life placed on an escalator he couldn't get off, so were we during the inquest process. So, in a way, most families I'm aware of experience a very similar formula. It's very restricted, it's very narrowed, and it's very cold. I'm going to be very clear about that. I mean, I knew then what we were entering as a family, that if you could get that so wrong in the beginning, then you knew that everything else was just going to follow in the same procedure. And unfortunately for us as a family, that pathology report on our beloved Clive set the tone for everybody else. So all of the agencies around that, didn't want to have anything to do with the family, despite knowing that we'd had a lifelong journey with Clive and we were involved in Clive and we've been there right to the end with Clive. That set the tone for all others, that they all made an assumption that post-mortem report gave them no concerns. Is that Clive's entire epilepsy life was removed from the clinic, from the clinical, I'm going to say, sanitisation of the inquest process. And that was just something I just couldn't correlate, given his experience, his life journey, the challenges, the pain, the suffering, the loss. How could you possibly exclude the very fundamentals of all of those, all of those facts? They've restored my faith in humanity by the mere fact that we were listened to and we were treated with respect. But they didn't need to listen to us, they just needed to respect Clive's life. He had the ability to show them that entire pathway, the gaps, the needs, the failures. So that I think it's been a natural evolving process for many, but it's certainly been an incredible, helpful resource that Clive has offered in his life, that has allowed the focus and the spotlight to truly see, as everybody knows why, you sometimes you do have to have that very clear, distinctive steps day by day. I think that has been so visible for everybody to see. But to get to the risk assessments for the commissioners, that's one privately for me. That's one privately for me. To get to the toolkit, the risk kit for Clive and his peers, way to go, Clive. So I can only hope that the transparency, dedication, commitment, ambition, and bravery continues. Because I know that the entire Midlands region has, embraced from day one, adopted waiting. But it has been quite something to hear providers have equally been seeking and waiting, because up until the point that the draft and the checklist has come into play, really, and all the pushbacks to acquire it, and many people in the Midland region have put themselves in the firing line. Let's all be honest about that. But they did it all for the right reasons, and that determination has come to safety, quality, and hopefully an alignment for epilepsy for all. From day one, there has been a determination of courage and ambition and bravery from so many, it's impossible to consider how many, you know, even yourselves. A movement in health is very rare, but to see so many determined to address the gaps and you know what people face with epilepsy in Clive's position or in epilepsy as a condition itself, it's absolutely, again, indescribable. I generally say Clive, I used to say Clive's famous for all the wrong reasons, but now Clive's famous for a million good reasons.